morning, good morning. Poetry Studio, still happening despite the great lateness of the morning. My name is Joseph, and I am your host. We're going to be having a short show today. I did something new with my morning routine, and let's say it just kind of kicked everything a little bit out of whack today. But it's an exciting thing, really, and that is that for the first time, I purposefully integrated into my morning routine the exercising of my idea muscle. What is an idea muscle? It's an idea, that idea muscle is a concept formed by James Altushire, I think that's his name, who just every morning comes up with 10 ideas on a topic. And I did that this morning, and I thought it was going to take a certain amount of time, and it took way more time. So that was really interesting. And yeah, so that was something that definitely set me back a little bit in the morning, but that's okay. I'm here now, and adjustments will be made in the future to allow that to be successful. So I figure we'll read some Pablo Neruda. I might write some just kind of free write poems. I decided today's not a day. I'm shelving my projects for the day. Poetry wise, there's a lot of non-poetry projects I've got to work on, honestly. And kind of wrap up the show before 8 and be able to not miss Akira and take care of a lot of the things here in the house we need to do. Christmas decorating also kind of set things back. And I have been really kind of trying to balance, learn, dive deeper, figure out my time, how to not waste as much of it. I just did a little run of how much time I probably wasted in November, and woo! So let's do some reading. Okay, I'm gonna bring down our music. Bring up Pablo Neruda. And switch screens. And I believe that it has worked. Let's see here. There's a little bit of a delay. Okay, there we go. So now, sorry about that. There's a little bit of a delay on the screen that I'm watching things. I really should invest in a second monitor for all this craziness that I'm doing. So today we're going to read Ode to Tomatoes, which is a very very layered poem about tomatoes. And what I mean by layered, I mean that for me that's not an official poetry terminology, but what it basically means to me is that the poem has a lot of meanings. Tomatoes are red. They symbolize blood. They symbolize flushness of the face. They symbolize a lot of things. They have a lot of flavor used in a lot of dishes in a lot of cultures. So Pablo Neruda, from what I gathered, and I have not read the poem in full yet, but from what I gathered when kind of reading a couple of reviews of his poetry in general, this poem is extremely layered. So let's read together Ode to Tomatoes. The street filled with tomatoes, midday, summer. Light is halved like a tomato. Its juice runs through the streets. In December, unabated, the tomato invades the kitchen. It enters at lunchtime, takes its ease on countertops among glasses, butter dishes, blue salt cellars. It sheds its own light, benign majesty. Unfortunately, we must murder it. The knife sinks into living flesh, red viscera, a cool sun, profound and inexhaustible, populates the salads of Chile. Happily, it is wed to the clear onion, and to celebrate the union we pour oil, essential child of the olive, onto its halved hemispheres. Pepper adds its fragrance, salt its magnetism. It is the wedding of the day. Parsley hoists its flag. Potatoes bubble vigorously. The aroma of the roast knocks at the door. It's time. Come on. end on the table at the midpoint of summer. The tomato, star of earth, recurrent and fertile star, displays its convolutions, its canals, its remarkable aptitude and abundance. No pit, no husk, no leaves or thorns. The tomato offers its gift, a fiery color and cool completeness. Man, that is pretty cool. That is really cool. What a poem. Ode to Tomatoes by Pablo Neruda. Lots of really interesting images, extremely vivid with the level that he focuses in on the tomato, but able to bring so much more to the table. And then Alt-Tab, all right, here we go. Oh, look at that, my computer screen. So that is that. Let's do some writing. And again, my feeling today is that I'm going to kind of free write a poem. I have been working on a couple of really interesting projects. I've been working on assembling my COVID collection. I've been working on getting a typewriter rental business started, hint, hint, wink, wink. I've been just doing a lot. And a lot is brimming. I feel like I'm starting to turn a corner. I know that phrase is often used without ooh, no, we don't want that. That we often use the phrase turning the corner in some sort of optimistic way, but kind of like shallowly. I think that's how it's been recently reflected, at least if you read the news. But I do believe I'm turning a corner in terms of getting towards that level of hyper-productivity that I want to get at. I endeavor to be hyper-productive, which is a weird thing for a poet to endeavor to be, because poetry is a lot about relaxing, it's a lot about just kind of taking in, it's a lot about being present with the ideas. But what allows me to be able to do those things, what I should rather say will allow me to do those things on a larger scale, is going to be being hyper-productive in all other elements of it. Being able to take 8-9 hours of my day, maybe even more, and really devote it towards supporting my sanity, making sure my routines are in order, that my house is in order, taking care of the other details of business, making sure that there is money coming in so that there can be food on the table, those types of things. And then that's when we have those moments. And so it's adventurous, it's exciting. There's a lot of discovery, there's a lot of intrigue, all of that present. And that's what I like about having the option on these streams. I mean, I believe it or not, I have commissions for days at this point. I gotta just respond to some emails. But it's important to sometimes step back and figure out where you are with yourself. Oh, it looks like our typewriter camera is not working. Let's see if we can fix this. There we go. And there we go. And what's interesting, it's a song that's playing now, which is entitled Mother's No Good, is about kind of how ancient cultures used to help their children individuate. Another Meaning Wave song by Akira the Don. I will have to go back and eventually review how long that poem took. Because that came right off the cuff, and it worked. I thought I had to think about it for a second. What was I going to write about? How was I going to approach this topic of turning point? Well, how was I going to approach anything? And then I discovered turning point, and then I kind of ran with it. What's funny is being a street poet's kind of like exercising an idea muscle, because someone gives you a topic And it's almost like you have to think about 10 ideas of that topic in one setting. Like love. Okay, so what can we say about love? Love is grandeur. Love is suffering. Love is, like, and kind of like, like, all the way down. That's fun. It's really fun to be doing what I'm doing. Oh, goodness, I didn't even turn on one of my lights this morning. The window shades are open. That's probably part of the reason why it worked. Christmas lights are up. It's really exciting. Turning point. A step past a point we wondered we would ever reach. That crossing of Rubicons to become the one known as heroic. I am still set in my wicked ways. I am still betting more than I can afford. But hope. Hope is companion more familiar than all the rest. Not guarantee. Not vision as far as the eye can see. No, it is the mystery holding my joy, for I am the mystery wielder, Merlin of the moment, flowing through the meaning of life. And indeed, I'm not where I want to be. I'm happy where I am, generally, but always on the way. But I see it, like it clicks. Like it, and maybe it's just this moment, maybe tomorrow I'll be in a total panic, maybe the day after I'll be perfectly fine. But like the way, like to get to real in the details of it, I had a very good day, most of the day yesterday, to the point that in the evening I was working on things and I did feel like I was in a flow state. I wasn't even working on it, I was driving. And I was going from point A to point B to point C, but I was doing it in a way which was efficient. I was making decisions that were not so heavily based off of what other people felt. It was very, and it clicked. It all clicked. And I came home, had dinner with my wife, a glass of wine, and then like it didn't click. Like it unclicked. And I asked myself, why did it unclick? And it's like I opened up a little door. And the little door let in a bunch of feelings. And I'm very used to opening up that little door. I mean, we all are. We're human. And I think there's always a part of me, part of you, anybody, that will open up the little door. And what the little door is the little door is flawed. The little door is taking a break. I mean, not a good break, like a bad break. Like being like, screw it. So, open up that door. And then that's what I did. And then the door opened and things came flooding in. And, it wasn't a disaster, but it could have been more productive. It could have been more helpful. It could have been more prepared. I was very unprepared. And now today I will challenge myself to not open that door as much or even at all. See if I can now move through the day just a little differently. I didn't get enough sleep. I know that for a fact. So at 3-4 o'clock, I'm going to be hitting it hard. And that's the thing. That's the power hour. That's the goal. The goal is not to not get sleep. The goal is to persevere. See the turning point for what it is. Thank you very much for tuning in on the replay, tuning in hundreds of years in the future when you're researching the history of the pandemic or whatever you're doing, that you're watching this. Shout out to you. And shout out to me, and shout out to these typewriters, and shout out to all the good things that are happening currently in my life. Take care, and keep it real.